I think we are probably
Yeah, I see
live.
it on the upper left
Oh,
corner.
now it's streaming. Okay, great. Hello, everyone in Finding Clarity. It's Leah here with you on Magical Mondays. I'm trying to pull it up on my phone so I can follow along with any comments that might come through. Hopefully, some of you guys are going to be able to hop on live. I am so super excited today. Oh my God, because I have one of my favorite people. Pierre is with us today, and he is my subtle energy coach. And I am so excited to share with you guys all the benefits that I have received from him over the, I don't know, I think I've known you for over a year. It's been well over a year. We met through some mutual friends, and we actually used to all get together and do like healing circles, healing parties, and share, you know, our medicine with each other. And so I learned so much from you at those events, and you would offer your medicine to all of us, and it was so great. And then we've worked together individually. He actually, I want to say made this for me. It's actually where like he
Encoded is what I like to say. I encoded it.
yeah, he encoded this for me. He for a few of us actually, and we're going to talk a little bit about how that works. So Pierre has also helped me really own my power as a muscle tester for myself, which is something that I had learned about years ago, and I've practiced and tried, and I never felt fully confident with it until working directly with Pierre. So hi, Pierre, welcome to Magical
Hi.
Mondays and Finding Clarity. Thank you for being here. So let's just start with you. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what got you into the energy work that you offer.
To make a long story short, I would say about a good 15 years ago, my dad was diagnosed with diabetes one day. We went to the hospital, and I just started asking questions around health that I never asked before. The doctor was pretty mean. Told me I could expect to be diabetic, and that really sort of triggered things for me where I didn't want to accept that. And so I just started asking a lot of questions and doing a lot of study around health. And I started coming across all sorts of information that most people would consider is, not the mainstream. It's very basic logic in that your doctor, you typically only deal with them when something goes wrong. They're not preventative. And so the preventative, it helped me step into my power to know that preventative is on me. What I'm eating, drinking, thinking, who I'm associating with daily, the music I listen to, it all matters. And so I needed that to occur to really spearhead me on that journey. And through that, it allowed me to overcome like food allergies and help get my mom off of medication. And for legal reasons per se, I like to say that's why it's about education, because people can self-treat themselves. I'm not a doctor or anything. I don't diagnose, so I do not do any treatment. I share the knowledge and wisdom that I have to help people go ahead and make a choice to try different things, and then see what happens. And we can get into that a little later. And so now to fast forward, that got me, I felt like I peaked with nutrients and using supplements at one point, and found the world of energy, studied that, studied under a gentleman, and sort of branched off in my own direction. And I'm developing things. I've developing technologies. I have a partner or one other person I work with, thankfully, because I don't believe you can do this sort of work by yourself. And we're doing it pretty much. And I used to live in New York City, and now I live in Texas with my 3 kids.
Yay, yay. Welcome to Texas, by the way. That's pretty funny that you ended up here. That's how we met. Like we never would have met if you hadn't ended up here. I think something that you said that I really want to touch on was you said this isn't something that you can do on your own. So even with the empowerment that I have around muscle testing, thanks to you, I still don't feel like this is something that I'm meant to do completely on my own. You offer validation and reassurance about things, and kind of like another voice sometimes to be like, hey, did you think about this? So that's one of the many benefits of working with someone who has your expertise.
Yeah.
What kind of stuff do you offer your clients?
So I offer, for example, to do assessments, and let me try to make this really simple. Actually, I don't want to call it assessments, more like almost scans. I can work with someone remotely. So like if I have a picture of someone, I can tap into everything that's going on in our bodies is recorded from the cellular level. Like if you think of why we often look like our parents, DNA and whatnot, like you can look often like your mom or whoever have you, because the DNA is a book. It records everything. And so obviously when you just look at someone's photo, initially you're not looking at their DNA per se, but in the photo, in that energy field of someone, I can sit and be able to figure out where there's certain issues happening through a process called resonance. So let's say, for example, while I'm educating someone, I guess the easiest way to use this example of a gentleman I worked with who had really bad pain in his back. And so what I did is I sat with him. I got a photo of him and figured out where the pain was coming from. He hadn't had an actual back injury and like got hit by a car or fell. It was actually coming out of his liver. One thing unfortunately that standard doctors in their training aren't taught is because unless you have an acute blunt trauma force impact happen in a particular area in the body, that doesn't mean necessarily that problem lies there. So just because I have a headache, for example, the issue might not be happening in my head. It could be my liver, it could be my kidneys, it could be my lungs, it could be emotional in nature. So I sit with the photo and I have a bunch of things to test it with, to scan it with, to find resonance. So I check human body parts and I say, is there an issue here in such and such as liver? Is there an imbalance? Anyone who's ever gone to holistic chiropractors and people like that, they often do that. I think they have you lay down and they have the vials and things like that. So that's sort of, I'm doing something similar. But as I said, because I do not have any formal degree, it's more so I do it under the guise of education. I'm just sharing information and then you can decide to do with it what you want. But what has validated for me that I'm pretty competent in it is the testimonials that I have where people have noticed changes and results through that sort of work.
Yeah, I got one. I mean, we just talked a week ago because I was suffering similarly with back pain. Actually, I was upon you for your magnesium cream because I got that message so strongly from spirit that I was needing that for myself. And then when we spoke and we talked about that, I was like, I actually have some really bad back pain, and you found it was in my kidneys mostly. But after like a recommendation and a suggestion of a couple of different supplements to add, I immediately felt results. Plus the magnesium cream really helped. And I've been sleeping better, except for the one night that I had the allergy attack. And then I have had so much less pain when I wake up in the morning just from that simple change. So and that's only one of the many things that we've done working together. So I'm a firm believer.
Well, and it's pretty, I mean, and I'm glad you brought up the magnesium cream. I could walk people through that a little bit. Also, part of my background is I'm the co-founder of Limp Candy deodorant with my wife. But we are in the process of moving on to the skin. It's going to be called Skin Tonic, the magnesium cream. And the purpose is because we have three actual filters in our body, three major filters. We have our liver, which filters toxins, our kidneys, and then our skin. So a lot of people don't realize your skin is technically a third filter. That's why when you sweat, you can detoxify. So with everybody having so many digestive issues, so on and so forth, I took it upon myself to try to formulate something that would really help where people could just take it transdermally. From studying the work of Dr. Caroline Dean and Dr. Mark Serkis and studying other products out there, I wanted to try to make my own and something superior. And I even actually encode it too with scalar energy as well for vibrations, for pain and different things. And so topically, because a lot of people have so much gut issues, you can just rub it on and you will notice the effect. Even though it's promoted as a moisturizer, but everything you put on your skin goes right into the bloodstream. So it needs to be edible. It's still in line with our vision with Lymph Candy that all of our stuff is food-based ingredients. So you could technically eat the skin tonic. It wouldn't taste that great, but you could eat it. It's magnesium, shea butter, amala, which is a super high form of vitamin C, pharmaceutical grade diluted DMSO, which is incredible. If anybody doesn't know about DMSO, when you have time, you're going to want to Google and look into that. So we have that in there, and we have the magnesium gel and the shea butter and the vibrations. And the one other thing is MSM sulfur, another super potent ingredient that helps your body produce glutathione. So see, I'm talking about it. Sounds like a supplement you would take in, and you could buy these all individually and take them via the mouth. But I've put it together, and we're doing it topically. Great for kids as well, because obviously children can't get them to take capsules, and they don't like the taste of powder. So just sort of out of necessity, and also for my children, that's why I'm doing it. I'm planning to add in one of the forms GABA. If people don't know what that is, it's really great for helping with relaxation. So that's a little background around that.
Even the magnesium helps with relax. I put it on my kids' feet the first night, and they all slept better than they had in weeks.
Yeah.
So
I put it on
really
every night. I put it on my kids. It makes a difference. It helps you get higher quality sleep. And a simple Google search, and you will see it's using over 300 different body processes. And so we really, in a stressful world we live in, it's a really easy way to keep our levels stable. And again, because some forms of magnesium are not as digestible, some people have digestion issues. So I just said, let's go through the skin. And it doesn't matter if you got gut issues, it goes right into the bloodstream and the body does what it needs to do with it.
Yeah, and who doesn't have gut issues these days? Speaking of which, let's say, like, who is it that, I mean, I think everybody needs an assessment by someone with your expertise, but who would you say, like right now, like somebody struggling with pain, somebody with autoimmune, somebody who's just kind of curious and wants to see what they need, what you would recommend for them supplement wise? Like, who do you really feel right now being drawn to you?
Initially, I feel like it's two types of people. One is the type of person who's naturally in this sort of world and studying and understands that using things from nature that your body recognizes is always going to be more compatible than, say, pills, patented chemicals from the pharmacy. So that person is already the type of person who would seek me out. The second sort of person is the person who thought this sort of work was totally ridiculous and there's nothing to it, and that it's it just doesn't work. But after going the route of the conventional route, they get desperate enough and realize that the traditional way they're doing things and what the insurance covers does not have any answers for them. And everybody, or not everybody, but most people, even though health insurance covers all these conventional methods, our standard healthcare system or sick care system, that's how it should be properly labeled, because you're not dealing with doctors and whatnot until something is wrong. So that goes back to what I was saying with preventative. But we are, I mean, the GDP, I forgot what percentage of the US economy is used to take care of sickness. When why can't we do things to prevent sickness, right? And it's so expensive, and also it's the third leading cause of death.
Medical?
So yes, medical treatment. Dr. Bruce Lipton talks about this. Dr. Gary Null, Dr. Caroline Dean, they've done the research. You can just pull it right up. It's literally the third leading cause of death, between taking prescriptions, mistakes done in surgery, so on and so forth. So there is that person that's tried this traditional route and they throw their hands up and they say, you know what, I'll give something like this a try, and is open enough to learn. Also, too, I'd say the most important thing for someone who I work with is a person that's open to learn. That's why I call myself a coach and an educator, because I'm always learning as well, too. One of the ways I develop my work is people ask me questions around certain things can we do with energy that I never considered, and then I find out we can actually do it. So that's why it's great. It's a mutual exchange as well when it comes to that. And then the third person, for example, will be the extreme skeptic, But what ends up happening is maybe I work with a family member or someone else, and the only thing they did different was work with me, and then it's undeniable. And I've even had that occur with, I feel like, some close family and friends where they see the result of what the person hasn't tried anything but what I encourage them to try, and then all of a sudden an issue is resolved. So it's undeniable. It's what they were instructed that they should consider doing is what did it. And then so all of a sudden these supplements and all this stuff doesn't look as ridiculous. Speaking of which, quickly, I'd say part of what I do through coaching and when we talk about muscle testing and knowing how to read energy, I help people figure out what is the optimal amount of something to take daily, because that's important. And then also too, a supplement could be high quality, but then we also need to assess, do you need it? So I could hold up a high quality magnesium, but if you're getting adequate amounts of magnesium, then that's a different question than versus, is this a good magnesium? Your body would test strong, as in yes, that's good. But then the question also is, do you have a significant need? And if so, how much? And we can, it's, as I said, people can learn this sort of thing. It is not hard. It's not as hard as it might sound.
It helps to have a coach with you, someone who's guiding you and leading you. And to that point about testing people for what they actually need, you actually end up saving people like me who love supplements and will just try almost everything that comes across my doorstep. You've saved me money that I didn't need to invest in certain things, or I didn't need to take as much as I would have been told I needed to take, or I don't need to take it at all, you know?
That's a good point as well.
So it has actually been beneficial as well.
Yeah. It's the supplement industry is a landmine. And one thing I would say quickly, what's interesting is a lot of the more expensive products you're paying for expensive advertising. There's a lot of small companies that put things together and the stuff tests incredible and it works, which would segue me into a quick anecdotal with someone I worked with where there's a cheap form of turmeric, which I shared with you, Leah. When you compare the various forms of turmeric people could buy, this was the one that tested the best. I assessed about 50 of them. I just, again, going through the photos, and it pretty much helped the gentleman resolve a problem that he spent over $200,000 on that doctors could not figure out. And he's planning to, when I launch my website, I'm hoping to interview him about that story and that journey of how, and he's the one I mentioned, it was a liver problem. He had no injuries. He went to all sorts of specialists, chronic back pain, and his liver was plugged up and it was creating spasms in his back, or energetically, per se. It's not my diagnosis, that's hyperbole, but he got the results.
Very similar with me, that turmeric has really helped. That same one has helped me tremendously, along with the other stuff that we talked about at that time. So I need to know, everybody wants to work with Pierre now. How do they get a hold of you? I'm actually going to put it in the comments. What is the easiest way? So we have an email and a phone number.
I'd say the phone number would be more immediate if somebody was to message me, introduce themselves, reference you. And because part of what I do is, I think I shared the link with you. If you could put that in the comments as well. I ask people to sign up through a private health association membership, because it creates a layer of protection for me to be able to share the things I would like to share with people and coaching and educating them. So I ask people to sign up through that, and it gives me the freedom to speak openly, because unlike the interesting thing is 0 people have died from supplements, whether they're high quality or not. Either you wasted your money and got nothing out of it and got expensive pee, or you took the right supplement in the right amount and you got some results. But the pharmaceutical cartel can't say the same, but their stuff is allowed to be on the shelf. And that's one of the things, for example, I educate people on. Turmeric in the right amounts is something that will give your body relief from chronic pain. Or you could take Tylenol, which kills 5,000 plus people a year and destroys the liver. all factual information, very easy to I sort of help filter that for you. That's part of what people would be paying for while you have that busy life. And if you don't want to get into this because that's my world, that's part of what we do. But I do ask people to sign up. So if someone was to text me, I'd have them sign up through that waiver into the private membership. It's actually free, by the way, no cost. And then we can explore working. The assessments are $80 if they want balancing with the actual technologies I use. For example, I could show, and you can mention this, Leah, how we use this to it's a scalar encoded laser, which Leah had a certain issue that she was testing for, and we just passed it around her body, and we removed the vibration per se of that. Our bodies are extremely sensitive and hold on to all sorts of stuff. And I like to say, think of energy testing as a way of turning your sixth sense, that gut feeling you have, turn it into a real superpower where you can tap into it and help you make really sound decisions around your health and even life, relationships, so on and so forth. But that's a whole other discussion.
That's a whole other thing. You were
Mhm.
testing for me, people in my swiping. I don't know if you remember that.
Compatibility,
The guys on my Tinder or whatever for me. I mean, your skill set is beyond. It's incredible what you can do. I also want to just tell you that card that you made for me has been helping. That you encoded.
Oh, that's good. We could talk about that quickly. I'll just mention, and this is if people are working with me, and obviously because Leah is, this is not something I necessarily promote, but we can take, because the essence of everything is energy, right? So while I was working with Leah, there's a certain supplement from a company that I love. And we're not gonna get too much into it, but supplement is very expensive. And so a credit card, just like water, that's another discussion, can hold lots and lots of information and frequencies and vibrations. So through my scalar energy process system that I'm using, I was able to take the energy, the essence of that supplement, and encode it into a card where now Leah can just wear the card and get the benefit. It was a supplement for gut health. And so now she's getting the benefit. And she can put the energy, the frequencies of that card into water and drink it. And it saves her tons of money and it's limitless. So
And I have absolutely noticed an improvement.
it works with gut health. So we've literally everything in the universe, from if you look into Einstein's work, Nikola Tesla, everything is about vibration, atoms, frequency. You think about Wi-Fi, people are engaged with energy at the tech level every day. But when you start talking about their health, they sort of dismiss it. Which one point I'm glad that that came up, I would definitely mention before we wrap up is if I could give people only one thing to look into to immediately improve their health, because we are bathing in so much electromagnetic frequencies, you need to have something to wear for you and your family and to protect your home. And I can share recommendations. I have my own proprietary stuff that I've created, but you don't even have to get it from me. You need to really look into that because the human body is extremely electrical, and we have a lot of man-made electrical vibrations all over the place, really disrupting human health. So that would be my health tip of the day for people. Look into that. And also, one word of caution: there's a lot of companies with quality stuff out there. The most expensive stuff that I've tested typically doesn't work. There's a lot of stuff on the cheaper end that actually does work and will provide you a level of protection.
There you go.
So
That's right. That's another way that you can help save money for your clients. This service that you offer is worth 10 times more than what you ask for it. And I really hope that more and more people will open themselves up to this, although you're in a group of light workers here today. So most people are already on board with the whole concept of energy and how energy is what we are. And we use our gifts to help change energy. And that's all you're doing too. So Pierre, thank you so much for your time today and your knowledge and your shared gifts with me personally and all of my friends. Like I know so many people that you work with. And I I can't wait to talk. I actually have a question for you I'm going to text you about later. So
Okay. Yeah.
again, thank you so much. I am going to add in the description of the video how you can reach out and get in touch with Pierre. If you have any questions or just are curious about it, you want to reach out to me, I'm here. I can answer questions on his behalf as well. If you have autoimmune, if you have pain, if you've tried the medical industry and it's letting you down, if you just feel like you're throwing money away on supplements, reach out to Pierre. He will guide you and he will coach you in the right direction. And I am so grateful that I met you. Thank you so much for being here today. And we will talk soon. Bye, everyone. I was on Wednesday for the Hump Day Nooner as well. Bye.
Bye.